Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the moment has arrived once again. Magic is descending right through your TV screen.
That's right. And in fact, the flowers are starting to come up, believe it or not. Wasn't sure that they were going to show back this year or not.
Well, let me tell you, I don't know either, but I know one thing. We're on the air.
Yes, we are.
Dwayne Weiss, Bill Crane, we're here.
Like it or not.
Like it or not is right. So get the kids, gather them up and bring them to the TV because the kids love us.
That's right. They may not understand most of it, but they like
They
us.
love us.
They say, look at those two funny guys on TV.
How can anybody be so stupid and still live? That's what they're saying, I think. But anyway, talking about stupidity, we have, Dwayne, I'm loaded. But first of all, before
Yes.
we get going,
Yes.
I am going to ask you to speak about Patriots Day.
Oh, yeah.
You wanted to speak
gonna-
about
we were
that.
going to talk about that. Kids today, particularly kids in Boston or Massachusetts, should know what Patriots Day really is. I read a thing that somebody did an informal poll of kids from 9, 10 years old up through high school. Most of them said it's the marathon. That's all they know is the marathon. The press, the TV, the newspapers give it a little bitty release. They have no idea. You say Lexington, Concord to them. Most of them have no clue what Patriots Day is. Yeah. That's sad. You know, I think the kids probably someplace in Nevada or California or Montana have more concept of what Patriots Day is than they do here.
I agree with you 100%. It's appalling. And I blame a lot of it on the schools.
Yep.
I mean, you know, you get school teachers, pay attention to this. You get books. Okay? But certainly there are events in the course of the day, the course of the week, or the course of the month that require you to leave the books to one side.
That's right.
And talk about an
relative
important
things
subject.
to the day.
The burning of Notre Dame.
Yep.
All right? Things of that nature. And certainly you could spare a moment or two and talk about the real meaning of Patriots Day, the real meaning of patriotism. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll be willing to bet you if we showed pictures of the cemeteries in France, in Belgium,
Oh, yeah. I don't know where
where
you're going
our World War II vets, heroes who died in combat, are arranged, perfect order, white crosses on their graves. We showed that and said to the average 12-year-old,
Yep.
what is this?
They wouldn't know.
They possibly would say
No,
it's a cemetery.
But they don't know why
They
or
don't
where,
know what it is
what it
or
is.
what it is.
That's right.
Or what the significance of it is. It's a bloody shame. And,
We're losing our history.
well, yeah,
We are actually losing our practical history.
absolutely. Absolutely. And you know it's the people who write these history books
It is.
for school.
Yep.
They are pathetic. And there, by gosh, we're off and running.
There you go.
All right. Now, I have a couple of news breakers here before I dig into the pile. So today, I happened to see something in one of my files. Lady arrested for stuffing something in something on her body. Arrested for shoplifting. 19th time she's been arrested.
Doesn't surprise me.
Nope. Now, so I Googled and I said, how much does Walmart lose a year?
Phenomenal.
Their revenue is $300 billion a year, I believe. Is that it? Is that correct?
No, they're in the billions.
Yeah, billions.
Billion, yeah.
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 3 billion a year.
Probably a 3
$3 billion a year. Thank you. They lose $3 million a year. $3 billion. I should have written it down.
They probably lose 30 million or more than that.
I think they lose.
'Cause I know
I think they lose $3 billion of the $300 billion in revenue.
Yeah, I think
not
that's
profits, but revenue.
Yeah, gross revenue.
$300
Yeah,
billion.
that's what it is.
They lose $3 billion. I know that's correct.
Yeah, it's phenomenal what retailers do lose, and I don't know anymore. I haven't been out of that business for years. We used to call that shrinkage.
That's exactly what they
Is that
still
what they call it, shrinkage?
Yeah.
And it's so bad in some parts of the country that retailers have gone out of business because of it. For years and years and years, remember that, Dad? There's a plaza just coming outside of Boston. I forgot what it's
South
called.
Shore?
No, well, not South Shore, but it's
Oh, I know
right
which
outside
one you mean.
when you
Yes.
just hit there. For years and years, they couldn't get a grocery store going in there, for example, or other stores, because the shrinkage rate was so high they couldn't make a go of it. They were losing 20, 25% of their merchandise. So they wouldn't go in there for a while. And then I think Menino or somebody else stepped in and kind of gave them a little extra incentive to get in there.
Yeah. But the rap was that the inner city people couldn't have a decent place to
That's
shop.
right.
Well, and the answer was because you couldn't afford to
to
build
put one there because they stole your blind.
They steal your blind. Is right.
I know we're not supposed to say that, but
it's the truth.
Bill and I are not afraid to say what is talk about the 2,000-pound elephant in the room.
That's right. That's right. And it's ridiculous. Now, the stores can't do anything about it.
No.
Because they can't go up to people and say, did you just stuff a wristwatch in your pants?
Yep.
And leave me alone. You got no right to touch me.
You really? I don't know. That'll probably change too. But I was in a management development program with a retailer. Then I was a buyer for a while. But I set it up in the stores, all the phases from a setup, operations manager, and then into buying. And at one point on loss control, this was in Ohio. I think different states have different rules.
I'm sure they do.
We could not apprehend them, the security people, until they passed the front door. Now, I understand some places if you pass the registers today.
I think in some of the ones I've seen on TV, it's passing the registers.
Pass the registers, yeah. I think most of them probably went to that.
Yeah. And and then they say, well, I don't have anything on me. And they stop you and they frisk you and they come up with a basket full of stuff that you got.
It's unbelievable. Then they used to pull the old thing that, well, of course, they let them go and they give them a court date and stuff because they'd prosecute. Then they go back in and buy that item, go through the register and get a receipt for it. But the thing was, the receipt was timed, and we were very careful about this. Happened at 2:16. The receipt said 3:45 now.
Exactly.
Because that was one of the tricks. They all thought they were cool enough to do that.
Yeah. But it didn't do any bloody harm or good because it got thrown out.
We see the frequent flyers.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where they'd walk through the front door, and somebody at service desk would call.
Leroy is here.
Leroy's back.
Yep. Jackie Jr. is here.
Or the three that come in to steal all the time. Yep.
What has happened to American morality? Thou shalt not steal. I know what the rationale is. They get lots of money, we get
that's
nothing.
Right. Oh, my God. Our politicians say that kind of stuff today, Well, we can afford that. It's just government money.
Look at the DA.
Yeah.
There in Boston. She's not going to prosecute shoplifters. What the devil is the message there?
Help yourself, guys.
Okay to steal?
Yep.
Well, Bernie Sanders has a new message this morning.
Everybody's favorite communist.
Bernie says everybody is entitled to vote, and that includes prisoners. Even the bombers that were at the marathon. They deserve the right to vote.
Well, I hope they vote in a block as a coalition in his whole thing and get him voted out of office then.
But what does that say? When you violate the laws, you lose privilege. And as far as I'm concerned, voting is a privilege. It should. We get into rights versus privileges, but driving is a privilege.
That's right.
Not a right.
No, it's not.
So it seems to me that you must be a citizen in good standing to vote.
You certainly think so, because what you're doing is contrary to society.
And that's what it is in this state right now.
Yep.
But there's 2 bills in the State House to allow the prisoners to vote.
We at one time, what I understand is that we allowed that, and then they found that these prisoners, inmates, were forming coalitions and voting as a bloc to get something through that they wanted through.
And that's what we were
That was
afraid
starting to
of.
affect of small towns like Norfolk.
Norfolk.
It's got little towns, a limited power base, a limited voter base. They got a prisoner base of maybe 1,000 or 2,000 people. That's a powerful unity.
You know, it was 600 back when this was going on.
Okay, I wasn't here then.
And what people don't understand, most people, is Walpole Prison, Cedar Junction.
Yep.
Just the front is in Walpole.
Yeah, I
The
understand
back
that.
of the prison is in Norfolk.
Yep.
And that's where they're all domiciled.
Yep.
Well, no, Bill, their address is on 1A in Walpole. Yeah, but they're living, sleeping, eating in Norfolk.
Okay.
So anyway, but if we took the 400 or 500 there and the 600 in Norfolk and at pre-release, 1,100 votes, if they voted like a block,
That's right.
they could swing an election in Norfolk easily.
Get them elected.
Yeah,
Selectmen in absentee.
But thankfully, I don't think it would ever come to a block because you have the white population, the black population, the Spanish population, and they don't get along.
No, I know they don't get along.
So it would be hard for me to conceive of them voting together unless it was an open door policy at the prison.
Yeah. Both in, you can all go.
Anyhow, well, I got a piece of mail
Oh, yeah?
from the John F. Kennedy Library Foundation. Now,
How big a check did you send them?
well, I haven't because I was going to ask you about
Oh, okay.
it. So, surprise, surprise at the bottom. The $45 individual is marked down, special introductory price of $40.
Introductory from what?
Well, you're going to become a member of the John F. Kennedy Library Foundation.
Boy, I can
Yep.
hardly wait.
And you can get a $100 contributor.
Oh, we got to get better than that.
How about the $1,000 President's Circle?
That's close.
$500 Leadership Circle? $250 Benefactor? Well, anyway, but before we cough up the money, we have to answer some questions.
Okay, I'm sure these questions there's nothing misleading about them.
Nope.
No.
Do you have personal memories of John F. Kennedy's presidency?
Anybody over a certain age does. So
Yep.
of course you're going to say yes.
Which of the following challenges presents the greatest threat to our nation? Deepening political divisions? Threats to hard-won civil rights gains? A growing lack of trust in our government? Low voter turnout? Or none of the above? I checked none of the above. To me, the biggest threat to our nation is the Democratic Party.
I don't quite think that that's what they're looking for.
No, I'll write it in,
Yeah,
though.
all right.
How important do you believe that John F. Kennedy's legacy is to inspire future leaders to meet the challenges of the 21st century? Very important, somewhat important, not very important, not important at all, or not sure.
You know what they're looking for.
Yeah, I think I know where we're going on that one. Which of President Kennedy's remarkable achievements not achievements, but remarkable,
I got that.
has had the biggest impact on our nation, okay? They get some good ones here. Winning the race to put a man on the moon, creating the Peace Corps. Are they still in existence?
I guess so, because I just saw something about him again.
Advancing civil rights and women's equality. He had equal women.
Yeah, he did, many of them.
Strengthening America's engagement with the arts. Preventing nuclear conflict during the Cuban Missile Crisis. He had nothing to do with
He
that.
damn near took us into a nuclear war.
That's right, but he
about
had
that close.
He had nothing to do with preventing
No,
it. Khrushchev
if
backed
Khrushchev wouldn't
off.
have blinked.
That's right.
I mean, there would have been some toasty critters around.
That's right. We would have had a lot of cinders in South Florida.
So don't think that he brought you away from that. The whole military complex at that point thought this was it. We're going.
That's right. Remarkable achievements. I'm going to put down none of the above.
None of the above. Okay.
Please rank the following values that President Kennedy embodied in order of importance. You have to put these in order.
Oh, jeepers.
Public service and civic responsibility, innovative and bold leadership, global citizenship and diplomacy, a commitment to justice for all, appreciation for art and culture. We'll put that one first.
All right.
That's a good one. Have you ever visited the JFK Presidential Library and Museum? Yes or no?
No.
No. Please rank the following aspects of the Kennedy Library's work in order of importance. You know, you're going to take an hour or two to do this thing here with all this stuff. You got to put it in order.
Well, I think the longer they think that you'll spend on this thing,
The more
digging
money?
around, the more money you'll come up with.
We'll get a bigger investment, yeah. This is good. In order of importance. Thought-provoking library forums, engaging educational and outreach initiatives, eye-opening exhibitions and collection of unique artifacts, the Profile and Courage Award and the New Frontier Award, interactive website, and other online resources.
I those kind of things I don't give any money to. I don't give any credence to them. First of all, that whole thing is done by a fundraisers, professional
firm.
fundraisers.
Yep.
That's going to give them a certain percentage. They're going to keep
right.
a big chunk of it. It's written psychologically to reel you in. Those questions weren't just at random.
No.
And the way they're phrased are not at random either. It's to think, well, this little lady's going to say this, and this little man's going to think this, and the person in Cambridge is going to love this statement. You know?
I can't even go on anymore. But this last one is a beauty. Which one of the following Kennedy Library Foundation member benefits are important to you? Free admission to all 13 presidential libraries across America? Invitations to exclusive members-only events and exhibition previews? Discounts in the museum store? Advance notice of Kennedy Library forums.
All very important things.
Is there anything on the back of this? We get better understanding of the different levels. $2,500 Legacy Circle. Oh.
It works, Bill.
You know, there was a Boston Celtics basketball game last Sunday,
Yes, there was.
and Bob Kraft was there.
Oh, he was. I didn't watch it.
He's
We had companies. I didn't.
quite the sports fan.
Yeah, I know that.
He was given a standing ovation by the fans. Jessica Haslam asks in her April 15th article, what were they cheering, his alleged paid sex acts with women? And Kevin Gila from Sharon said, no, Jessica, they were showing their support for a man who has accomplished great things in his life. From his seemingly limitless philanthropy philanthropy to his astounding recreation of the Patriots from laughingstock losers to the envy of the NFL. They cheered because they will not throw a guy like this under the bus for totally meaningless indiscretion. I look forward to the thundering standing ovation Mr. Kraft will receive when he steps onto the field for the opener at Gillette.
Well, he probably will, because these people don't have any concept of what's right and wrong, I don't think. First of all, let me say something about his philanthropic activities. When you're worth $6 billion, you could easily give away $5 billion and still have $1 billion that you'll never spend it. So it's really easy to be a philanthropic donator.
Okay,
If you
I agree with you to a point. But he doesn't have, like Scrooge McDuck,
No, I know, he doesn't have
a huge pile
but
of
he's
money.
got the
It's
assets that he
tied
can
up.
draw on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's looking in his wallet and saying, well, I got $60 here, I'll give you 20. Yeah, it doesn't happen with these guys. They got so much money and so much, it's not a big thing for them to give that kind of money away.
And he does.
He
He
does.
does it to a very, very wide panorama of different charities, people, causes, and all. But yet, Kevin Geller from Sharon seems to forget about there's a history of this.
Yeah.
Tom Yockey is one of the great philanthropists
Yep. Oh,
that ever lived in Boston.
Look at that.
And
Tarred and feathered him.
They just changed the name
Oh, yeah.
of Yockey, the Yockey stop on the MBTA
Oh, yeah.
to Lansdowne Street.
Yockey Wayne went to Jersey Avenue or some damn
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not surprised that there are people that strike back. They just don't see the whole picture. I don't know. Well, here's something. Genevieve Bird from Northfield writes, I am an 11-year-old girl writing to get your attention on the issue of climate change. At night, I have nightmares of the future. I have always dreamed of having kids, but will I be able to say, look, a butterfly? Adults, don't leave it to the next generation. I am sick of hearing you're the future. You still are here, and you will still be here for years to come. There is so much more I would do if I were older. Do you care that our world is in danger? That your grandchildren might think, why did Grandpa and Grandma ruin my future? We have already ruined so much we can't fix. But we can stop repeating our mistakes. And like many people say, there is no planet B. I am scared, and you should be too. We need to try harder in 2019 and change before it's too late. According to the report of the UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, we have only 12 years until we can't fix anything. As activist Greta Thunberg said, act as if your house is on fire, because it is.
Well,
11 years
if
old.
11-year-old sat down and wrote that,
She needs to be in Harvard.
and she needs therapy. There's a poor kid, there's somebody scaring the death out of that kid.
Yeah.
No, she did not write that with the statistics
Absolutely.
and the background check. Come on, folks, don't be stupid.
This, I mean, is ridiculous. Regardless of the points she raised,
Those
she's
are not
a
her
stalking horse.
Yeah.
All right? And for a parent to do something like that,
Yep.
and also,
If they're feeding her that kind of information, that's some sort of child abuse. She
Also-
can't sleep. She's sick over it.
are you surprised the Globe
No,
printed
not
that?
at all.
No. I mean, that's ridiculous.
They'll do anything to present their cause. Doesn't matter what it is.
So, that was a wonderful moment with little Genevieve. Now, Here's something you might like to be interested in. Massachusetts, #1 in underage drinking. Also tops in minors binging on booze.
Well, if we're number one, I don't know.
With the hub of the universe.
That's right.
Nearly 29% of Massachusetts minors between the age of 12 and 20 consume alcohol, according to research collected and analyzed by American Addiction Centers. States trailing Massachusetts include North Dakota, with an underage drinking rate of 25.3 and Vermont 25.2.
I agree with North Dakota, Vermont. I question that.
Here in Massachusetts? Oh, we're so bloody liberal here. I mean, okay, Ralphie, I know you're going out with your friends, but no more than 12 cans of beer tonight.
That's right.
Even if they care about the kids. Across the nation, 33% of kids have at least one alcoholic beverage before they turn 15. And 60% drink alcohol by the age of 18. We're the hub of the universe.
Yeah, I'm not sure I believe that one.
Well,
I think there's a state that beats the hell out of this state.
the National Institute of Health was part of this also study. I don't know.
Either
think
that or kids have gotten really straight since I was a kid.
Well, now, there's another factor here. Like it or not, Massachusetts is a rich state.
Oh, yeah.
The
there's no
kids
question
have
about
got
that.
disposable
They got money.
income.
They got disposable
They can go out and buy it.
Yeah.
We used to buy beer when I was, 17, over at Vet's Package Store in Millis.
Yep.
And the joke was, if you're tall enough to get your money on the counter, he'll serve you.
We're at Bauer's Beer Garden, same thing. You could reach up there and put that money down. He'd sell you a case. We'd go buy a case of beer. He'd set it out by the back door. You have to drive around, go around, get it, and then he'd see if they got caught. He'd say, the damn kids stole it off my back door.
The dirty, rotten
Damn kids.
He used to let us walk right out the front door with us.
But, we grew up in a different era, too.
We did.
No, but there was nobody going around checking to see if they were selling to minors or anything. It just wasn't a big deal.
It wasn't a big deal at all.
No.
Now, buying a case of beer, I didn't do that. I'd buy a 6-pack because I didn't like warm beer.
Oh, we had a solution for that, too.
Yeah, drink it fast.
No. It was called Bear Creek. Very cold stream with a little bridge going over it. We put it down underneath the bridge in the water.
Not a bad idea. I never thought of that.
Well, you got too much traffic around here.
Well, me and my buddy used to go get a 6-pack. Between the two of us, the three of them were gone in 15 minutes. And we'll go get another one.
Yep.
And go get another one. That's where I learned to chug them, And that's when I became my own worst enemy, knocking them down. Well, here's another story for you you're going to love. Boston rated worst in the nation for peak traffic.
Yep. Well, that I agree. It's one of the, if not the worst, it's right up there.
Gridlock. #1, Boston, Mass.
Yep.
#2, Washington, D.C. Yeah. Have you ever been on that beltway at Russia? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a thing of beauty. Seattle, Washington. Now, I was always south of Washington. That's where the part of the industrial area was and where the distributors hung out, down by the airport.
Yep.
So I never really saw rush hour traffic out there.
Yep.
#4, Chicago. I saw that plenty.
Yeah, I've been around that Northwest Expressway at was it Ryan's?
It's elevated part of the way.
Part of it is, yeah.
And when you come down, the first thing that meets you is the bucket you got to throw dimes and quarters into.
Oh, yeah.
Folks, if you've never driven in the Chicago area, you've got to stop every 200 yards and put money in the baskets. Well, not quite that bad, but
New Jersey had one of those too. It seemed about every 200 yards there was another So you'd buy tokens, so you
Yeah.
only have put that one token in. It was cheaper too.
I'll tell you, I used to drive with my reps, distributors, and they had the ashtray was always pulled out all the way out. It was full of change, not ashes. It was full of change.
Oh yeah.
Boy. Number 5, New York City.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Number 6, Los Angeles.
Yep. Yeah.
So that all
401
makes
freeway.
sense. Now, this is a great thing, this rating system here, okay? And it's great they're doing this research, blah, blah, blah. What are they going to do about it? Nobody has a plan. Every once in a while, Marty Walsh, the mayor of Boston, rolls something out. We've got to do this. Now, I have a plan, and that's it. Never goes any further
The
than that.
solutions. Now, this past year, we had to go into Tufts sometimes 2, 3, 4 days a week. And that Southeast Expressway is a brute in the morning. Right now, I think it's probably all day long. That's 9 miles from that split in Braintree up to the first exit, so going into Boston. It's 9 miles. If we did it in less than an hour, that was a quick trip.
Yeah.
Usually there's one car at a time, one car at a stop. And when I see these things, well, we should put tolls on it and charge more tolls for peak time.
Oh, that'll speed things up. They just fly right through
My
the
question
tolls.
is, you go up and down that road, there's nobody driving out there because they want to drive there at that time. They're driving because they have to drive.
That's right.
They got to get to work at 8 o'clock or 8:30 or something.
But let's stop them for tolls. Let's collect money
Collect
off
tolls
them.
and make the
speed
tolls
everything up.
Make the tolls at the prime time driving
Yeah.
up higher so people won't drive in.
Yeah.
Well, who in the hell in their right mind would drive in if you didn't have to?
Unbelievable.
They think that's a solution to everything.
I work in there. That's where I make my money. That's how I feed my kids.
Or else another one around here. Take the tea, take the tea,
Yeah.
take the tea. Now there's two problems with that. If everybody started taking the tea, it wouldn't work because we saw on the when the Patriots had their victory parade, they overwhelmed the tea.
That's right.
And it just totally collapsed.
Imagine
Number
if that
two,
was a set like that every day.
yeah, it would be like that every day.
Yeah.
Number 2 is there's a Achilles heel in the tea that they never talk about. Parking. You got a tea stop, you got to get to that tea stop unless you got a wife or a friend that's going to take you and kiss and tell or kiss and goodbye or whatever it is. You got to get there.
Well, now,
If you don't, and then you don't have a place to park, so you can't get on the damn thing.
yeah. But here in Norfolk, we wouldn't be like that. We'd allow them just to park any place because we're a loving community.
We're full here. You can't get in the lots after
I know that.
7:30. You know that, trying to go
Yeah.
into
But we'll
Tufts Dental.
let them park on the streets. No
Yeah,
problem.
no problem.
Right. And that's the way it is in all the towns. I mean, you can't have streets clogged up with MBTA parking so the fire trucks and ambulances can't get through.
Yep.
I mean, it is madness what these people come up with for solutions. But you know what, Dwayne? No one has an idea.
No.
It is not possible to have Caterpillar build the biggest bulldozers in the world and just bulldoze Boston and start all over again.
That's what would have to happen.
Yeah.
But we're not supposed to have that kind of tie-up. $15 billion in 12 or 14 years? Big dig. That was supposed to get rid of
Oh,
that.
no, that's up in the 20s.
Was it
It's up
20
in
now?
the high 20s
I know it's still
now, with interest and everything
the
else.
tab
Yep.
is still coming due.
Yep.
But folks, that was going to fix all this.
Ted Kennedy promised.
Oh, that Southeast Expressway was just going to flow in like liquid gold.
I promise.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guarantee we will not spend more than $2.8 billion on the big dig.
Nope.
It's got to pass. Yeah. Oh. Well, mortgage rates are stabilized. Okay?
Yeah, okay. I agree with
And
that.
guess what? 75% of the U.S. population does not meet the minimum standards for a standard home mortgage.
I'm not surprised there because every time I see those statistics of how big a mortgage people are calling and taking care of, it's scary. Now, you and I never got into the houses where we're talking 7 figures and high 6s even. But some of these people, they don't think anything of having $300,000-$400,000 mortgage, and they're young people too.
Nothing at all. You know what? I know a guy. Well, he's out in Los Angeles, so I can tell this story.
Mm-hmm.
And he carries
Mm-hmm.
credit card balances over $25,000.
It doesn't shock me because I just read not too long ago that the average credit card debt is almost $17,000 in this country.
Boy, that's high. It was
is.
like 9 or something like that.
I
I
was
guess it all depends on how you define it.
Yeah.
But this guy told me he currently had $27,000 in debt.
Yep.
And I said, don't you ever try to pay it off? He said, screw it. He said, I make the minimum payment and that's it.
Yeah, and your credit card debt is one of the worst because the interest rates are phenomenal. They go up to 25, 27.
20, 29.9
Yeah,
is the max here in Massachusetts. Can you imagine that? 30%. 30 cents on the dollar?
Well, take a look at that when you get your statement. It says if you only make the minimum payment,
Yep.
this is how long it's going to take you to pay this off. Now, that's the other assumption. You don't charge another penny in the next 5 or 10 years.
Yeah, 325 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So this, and then we decried the fact that, it's not like it used to be. The dream of settling down with Betty Sue and walking down the aisle and having 3.3 kids and having a little house in the country with a white picket fence is gone. You and little Betty Sue are working 2 jobs. You can't afford to have kids, so you get dogs instead,
Yep.
which are about as expensive as kids these days. The American dream is shattered, I think, or it's in deep trouble.
It's in trouble.
Yeah.
The new, what is the new generation? I don't even know.
The
new absolute and younger.
Y, is it Y? Gen Y?
I can't keep
something.
track of
I
which
don't know.
these are, but they're actually turning away from home ownership right now. They're looking for renting is where they want to go. Yeah. The other generations was home ownership, and then the generations before them, a couple generations, much younger than Bill and I, we're not satisfied to start with what we used to call a starter home. Mm-hmm. Well, you probably had to start. I know I did.
I did.
It was well under 30,000. It was in the 20s.
My first house was 22,000.
Yeah, mine was 26, I think. And today they don't think nothing of but spending that in a car.
That's right. Vacation.
And I took that out for 25, 30 years, and
30 years.
I got home that night. We got home that night and lay in bed, and I couldn't go to sleep. And he goes, "What's the matter with you?" I said, 30 years. What are we thinking of? My God, how are we going to pay for this thing?
$208 a month.
Yeah, I think 100 something, 190 something a month, or whatever it was.
But you know what? We found a way to do it.
Yeah, we found a way to do it, but we didn't have the best. We had somebody else's discard for what it was, but we made do. We were pleased with what we got. Kids at a certain point didn't want that anymore.
That's right.
They probably came out of a house with a 4-bedroom, a nice bath, a nice yard, and everything. That's what they wanted to start with because that's what their parents had when they left home.
Yeah. Can't stop there.
Well,
no. It's amazing that I don't know. I don't know whether this is going to end, but it's not a great situation at all. One of the real problems, I think, kids are not taught interest. What it costs to carry a loan.
That's right.
Also, they're not taught the beauty of compound interest.
Yeah, oh yeah.
All right? So they don't have an understanding of how finances work. Hell, they don't even know what a checkbook is.
A lot of them don't.
I know. Anyway. All right. Well, I'm going to tell you a couple of things that I don't like.
All right.
I don't like guys wearing suits or sports coats with a T-shirt underneath.
That is kind of strange.
And I like socks. I don't like these guys
I-
coming on TV without socks on.
I can't go without
They're
socks.
savages.
It hurts my feet, quite frankly.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy.
But you know that's the Hollywood set, though. The
I
sport
know.
coat and
But yet,
and
they-
jean,
the
or
people-
sport coat and apparel ripped the jeans with holes in them.
Tell me why the people follow those morons.
I don't know.
I
but
don't
they
know.
do.
Oh, I've got to be like Rocky Whizbang or whoever it is that you're emulating that's on.
I get the Wall Street Journal, and every month you get the Wall Street Journal magazine.
Yeah, I know it.
It's the most ridiculous. Folks, if you haven't seen this thing, it's the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen in your life. It's all fashion. It's all designer stuff. It's some of the goofiest crap you've ever seen in your life. And the models, I swear to God, you can't tell if they're men or women. And 50% of them, and they're all about 90 pounds, look like some starving Biafra.
They do. They starve themselves to get down to 92 pounds.
The best thing is you go to the second to the last page, it's where to buy this crap. They'll have some Versace blouse. You look at it, $2,400 for a blouse. A bag, a woman's purse, $16,000 because it's got some weird old designer's name on it. What in the hell have people gone crazy?
Yes, they
Yeah.
have. They absolutely
They
have.
buy it because they say, "Oh, look at this!
It's
This is a-
trendy and it's
this
got a
is-
name on it.
This is a
Robert
Louis
Schmier.
Vuitton or
or something.
Coach or whatever,
Yeah.
or Prada."
There was in the Globe magazine this Sunday.
Well,
there
they got
was-
some of that stuff
Oh,
too.
they do. One of those stores in there, one of the trendy ones, had a plastic bunny sitting on his haunches. Easter. Made out of plastic.
Yep.
Molded. $900.
It's amazing.
You know, they should. Everybody that comes in to buy one of those should be forced to take a mental test.
Yep.
Yeah, and see if they're really with it or whether they should be institutionalized. I don't know. Maine. Up in Maine, they have they've got quite a problem up there. They have the oldest population in the U.S. because the young kids leave
Yep.
and they never go back.
Yep. That's right.
So they get all kinds of problems up there. But not the least of their problems is lying to the public. Now, they said back in 2000, and I'm not positive on the second thing. I'll just tell you this. They had homicide by guns,
Okay.
10
Yeah.
in 1 year. The following year, they came out and said, it has jumped, it is uncontrollable, the gun deaths, it is a crisis in Maine. 226. I'm sorry, 236.
Okay.
Guess what they did?
They probably put some silly legislation in.
No. They included 226 suicides.
Suicides. Yep.
Yeah.
But,
And counted those along
Yeah,
with.
as-
That's the gun deaths.
homicides.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's,
So they had
that's a
10
cute one they always
homicides.
do. Yeah.
And by the way, that 10 homicides in 2018 was down from 12 the previous year.
Don't forget, this is a state that's got a lot of guns in it.
Yep. And now, some of these phonies in southern Maine in the legislature, well, we got to control the guns.
Well, what is southern Maine?
Yeah.
Transplants from Massachusetts.
Yeah. They love them up there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They have a
Imagine
name
that.
for them, though.
Imagine that, folks. You've got 10 homicides by guns. Then the following year, they take all the suicides by guns and lump them in and say, guess what? 238 deaths by guns. You know,
You know what they refer to as Massachusetts people going
massholes.
Massholes.
Yeah, and the name fits. By the way, in California, they talk a lot about racial profiling out there. The panel's most recent report found 17% of California's law enforcement agencies reported not a single complaint on racial profiling last year.
It's always seeing something that's not there.
Yep.
And if you put it out there enough times and tell over and over and over, people start to believe it.
A state of 40 million people
Yep.
recorded 659 profiling complaints,
That's nothing.
just 10 of which were sustained.
Yep.
Give me a break. So the next time you hear about racial profiling, folks, think about California and what they found out. And if anybody would twist the story, it would be California. Here is a terrible, terrible story.
Just one at one time.
Go ahead.
Bill and I both watch Live PD, and one night, they stopped this black guy and a couple other black guys in the car, and they said they could smell marijuana and something else, and they were getting him out of the car. The black guy right away starts saying, "This is just a matter of racial profiling, blah, 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 blah." And the guy's name is Kevin Lawrence, I think, a big black guy.
Yeah.
He says, "By chance, did you ever look at me?" He says, "What color am I?" He says, "How can I racial profile you?" He says, "I'm the same color as you, so don't give me that crap."
He's good.
Yeah.
He is good. And it seems to me that when they went in the trunk, they found 3 big bags of marijuana.
Big, major stuff for distribution.
God.
But see, they thought it would work, so.
You know, one more story, folks, and then we'll get back to serious
We could
stuff.
sorry all afternoon.
They stopped the guy and they searched him. And they found a lump in his sock. And they pulled it out, and it's marijuana. And the cop says, "What's this?" He says, "I don't know. These aren't my socks."
Well, I've heard him say this in my pants when he finds stuff. I really think that's going to work.
God. What have we
One of them said,
become?
"What do you mean it's not your pants?" He said, "Well, a lot of people could have been wearing these pants."
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. My brother was wearing them the other day.
Yeah.
Now, this is a sad story. A beached whale found in the Philippines on Saturday died with 88 pounds
I
of
did see that
plastic
too, yeah.
trash inside its body. You know, folks, I'm going to tell you something. I am not a wide-eyed radical green guy, but I got to tell you something. We have made a filthy, rotten mess of the oceans. The fishing, the recreation that we get from the ocean, it's got to be sustained for next generations. It is a wonderful, wonderful resource. And someday we may have to take the water and make fresh water out of it in desalinization plants.
That's right.
But boy, oh boy, if we can't get serious about cleaning it up. I don't care about the rest of this whole green crap. But I will say this much. The plastic in the ocean has reached a crisis stage. Well, we can't do anything about it. The people over in Asia, they're putting in 80% of it. Yeah, well, work with them. Let's start seeing what we can do about it. I mean, you mean to tell me we cannot go out there with big tankers and vacuum up a lot of that stuff?
I don't
it
know.
all congeals into great big bunches.
Yeah, there's certain areas of the ocean where the currents bring it back together.
Yeah.
Somebody did try that, and then they had equipment failure. They're going to go back out this summer, I think.
Yeah, but the scientists have said this stuff is never going to work. This guy's got
yeah,
it just
they
can't work. And now here's another sad case. The homosexual suicide rate in the country is 3 times that of the heterosexual.
Yep.
Any thoughts on that?
I don't understand. I don't. I couldn't even begin to delve into that. Because
No.
I have no concept of why I'm not homosexual. I can't imagine being homosexuals. I don't know what goes into their mind.
Well, I can tell you this much. I think growing up, I think that they have a much tougher time growing up.
That's true.
And I think early on in their life, they find barriers erected to them moving on. And I think it's a strong person that's able to survive sometimes. Bullying, I think, is one of the most cowardly, miserable happenstances that the good Lord ever invented and allowed to happen.
Yeah, and only recently has that. I mean, recently, not last week.
10 or 15 years, 20
has it
years.
come to light? You know, it
Yeah.
used to be kids did this to other kids, and everybody says, grow up. You know, don't handle it yourself. Punch him in the nose or something. You know, they just let it go. But it was extreme in some cases.
Oh, it was terrible. Yeah. And I think that probably, and I think too that then they turn to drugs and alcohol. And, oh wow, this is flying by. And I think that lifestyle too lends itself to depression and frustration. And
Well, we run out of time, Bill.
Go ahead.
You been watching Jeopardy?
oh yeah, the guy.
I
Yeah.
love that guy. Folks, if by chance you haven't seen it, and hopefully if he's still going when the time this is on the air, he's going to be over $2 million.
He's going to hit $1 million maybe,
tonight or not,
maybe
next night.
tonight, yeah.
He's phenomenal. Not only has he got chutzpah and the will to lay out a lot of money on his bets. He's a sports bettor by trade.
Right.
He's a professional bettor, and you can see that because he has no qualm at all about a $30,000, $40,000 bet on it.
Do you know John Henry, the owner of the Red Sox, ran a fund, a mutual fund, and he could do computations
Yeah.
involving millions of dollars in his head.
Yep.
Wow, there's some people, Dwayne, that have shot past you and I as far as the
This guy
IQ
went
ladder is
a
concerned.
couple nights ago, went 40 for 40 questions. Every one of them. Boom, boom, boom. And
Did he get every one of them?
He got every one of them. Another night he got 37 out of the 40. But he's quick. By the time that question comes up, he's already got the answer. And the other two contestants just stand there like a deer in the headlights.
Do you know, he must have the ability to retain
that's what we
fact
said. Yep.
that he comes across.
Ever comes across. Yep. He's got a kind of a memory. And just like that, he can
bang,
recall
bang,
it.
bang.
And he's a funny guy. He's got a sense of humor in his.
He's self-deprecating.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's a fun guy. I hope he keeps on.
Oh, me too.
Me too.
I heard this morning that the suits at Jeopardy are getting a little nervous.
He's going to break the bank forever.
He keeps this going. Yep. Because he's averaging $70,000 or $80,000 a night.
Yeah. And listen, their ratings go up, and their
It's the highest
advertisers.
they've ever had for ratings.
Oh, shoot. Do you know that 60% of teenagers do not know that e-cigarettes contain nicotine?
Oh, yeah, I'm not surprised with that. They think it's something that you could just use, and they are developing a nicotine habit that's unbelievable.
One more fact here. I know we're running out of time, but my husband and I own a 2006 Toyota Avalon with
That's not him talking.
160,000
He's reading that.
miles on
His
it.
husband and I. So that's,
Yeah.
I thought I'd clear that up. So when the rumors got started here.
So he's got an old Avalon, and the headlights aren't as bright as they used to be.
Yep.
So the guy that writes this column, he's very good, says, well, the plastic lenses that cover the headlights can oxidize and discolor, blah, 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 blah. And there's a couple of things you can buy to clean them
there
off,
is.
okay? But get a load of this. Headlight bulbs can also dim over time. And as we age, our eyes don't work as well as they did once.
Yep.
Now hold on to that. Keep in mind that when we reach 60 years old, we need 3 times as much light to see as when we were 20 years old.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
So, friends, slow down at night when you're driving,
Yeah.
especially if you're as old as I am.
One.
I notice that my low beams on my car, my high beams are great, but the low beams, and you can't refocus them.
No.
They're fixed, but I certainly wish they were better.
Yeah,
So
Marcus
as a result,
Corollas,
I
low
just-
beams, you just might, I can't see anything with
yeah,
them.
that's right. Yeah, and I'll mention one other thing too. If I was a car manufacturer, I'd do something about the backup lights. You could light a penny candle and hold it out your window
nothing
and see
there.
about as much as you can.
Well,
with
it's more
some of the
style than
backups.
anything else.
Yeah.
That's all they're
Well, they got to
looking
be there by law.
Yeah. And
And it's a safety feature too. Oh, look, the car's in reverse. You know, the car in front of you, so you back off or something. My friends, thank you so much for tuning in. I know that you've been enriched by this program, so just think about it. Think about it, how great this was. Mark on your calendar that in 2 weeks you get to do it all over again with us.
That's right. Lucky
Yeah,
you.
I'm telling you, huh? Good, clean living pays off, folks. So, with that in mind, I want to wish you a very, very happy beginning of springtime.
Bye.